if you intend on buying a mid-range sedan and you don't want the Honda Accord or the Toyota Camry, another name comes to mind: the Sonata. The Sonata is one of Hyundai's best-selling models worldwide, but they've come a long way since the first generation released in 1985. When they released the first generation of the Hyundai Sonata, it was created so it could compete with the Daewoo Royale, a very good car at that point in time. But they advertised it as a luxurious version of the Stella, and nobody liked it. It tanked, it was crap, and they said, what? Let's move on to the next generation, fast and easy. Second generation Hyundai Sonata was the Hyundai Sonata Y2 that came out in 1988. This car was a larger family car. It was designed by Mitsubishi, and it also used their engine. It was created to compete with the Ford Granada and the Ford Scorpio, and it was made to be available at a cheaper price because, they wanted to sell more. But I would say that car was bad, neither would I say it was good. But when they innovated and they moved on to the third generation. The third generation of the Hyundai Sonata was released in 1983, and it was called the Hyundai Sonata Y3. But in South Korea, it was called the Hyundai Marcia, and in Italy, it was called the Hyundai Sonata. Now, this Hyundai Marcia was different from the one that was available worldwide. This car was finer. I think, me personally, I think that it was finer than the one that was available for worldwide. They moved on to the fourth generation in 1998. This one lasted from 1998 to 2004. It was called the Hyundai EF series. This car was wider, this car was bigger, this car had the same body, the same underpinnings as the Hyundai Santa Fe and the first generation Kia Optima. In 2001, they facelifted. If you don't know what facelifted is, that means they upgraded this car. They upgraded the bonnet, they upgraded the grille, they upgraded the headlights, they upgraded the dashboard. They literally made this car go from being an Hyundai to almost a second generation Mercedes-Benz. If you ask me, this was the best thing Hyundai had done from the Sonata or for the Sonata since the first generation. They just took design from here to here. Like, it was a very, very huge upgrade. In 2004, the fifth generation of the Hyundai Sonata came out. By this time, because of all the developments that happened, the Sonata was selling well, and it was doing well in South Korea, and it was doing well even in the United States. They launched their all-new engine, aluminum engine. Everybody was going from iron to aluminum at about this time. And the Sonata NF, which was this generation, was the first Hyundai car to use it. In 2019, the sixth generation Hyundai Sonata was released. This is where I think Hyundai began to outdo themselves. They began to enjoy making the Sonata, because this was the first time they released the fluidic sculpture design. It became curvy. You see all those curvy lines that the Hyundai Sonata has today. This is when they started. This is when the Hyundai began to set itself apart from other mid-range sedans. The cabin of this car looked more upscale. It looked more expensive. It looked more plush. They were using higher materials. The design was revised, and depending on the trim of this car that you bought, you could see features like leather upholstery, dual zone automatic climate control. That means one part of the front seat can be hot, one part of the front seat can be cold. You see the navigation system and a premium audio system. This particular generation was longer, it was wider, there was a longer wheelbase, so this meant that there was a lot more space for occupants. This was a bigger car than the former generation. In 2015, the seventh generation Hyundai Sonata came out, and they doubled down on their fluidic sculpture design. They call this one the fluidic sculpture 2.0. And you think the design for this generation was already mad, this one was way madder. Like, they put a lot of work into design, put a lot of work into appearance. But that did not mean that they left out the interior and the quality of the car, because in the seventh generation, they used even more quality materials. This was also the generation that Hyundai decided to introduce the sports trim for the Hyundai Sonata. Now, we are in the eighth generation. This generation started in 2019, and Sonata changed their design from the fluidic sculpture to sensuous sportiness. And if you ask me, I think this car looks sporty. If you take a look at the Sonata today, and you take a look at the Camry, you take a look at the Kia, you take a look at the Accord, the Sonata definitely it looks like the sportier car. It looks like the sportier car when you compare to all of these cars in this category. This car has a fastback profile, has low hood and aggressive lighting elements. If you check out the lights look like they are for a sports car. They look interesting, they look like they want to get your attention. I think it's a very enjoyable car. I've not been inside the Sonata, but I definitely want to be inside this 8th generation Sonata. I think it's a very lovely car. I think the design is really nice. And also, Hyundai did not stop adding features. This car has remote parking assist, which essentially means the car can park itself. It also has a large 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system. I mean, you don't get infotainment system this big in regular or mid-size these days, but the Sonata offers you this. And right now, the Sonata is actively competing in the mid-size market. If you like the Sonata, I think the Sonata is a car that you should definitely go for. In Nigeria especially, it has become very, 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 very popular. Of all these generations, if you follow me, you probably know that my favorite is the 8th generation Sonata. I just think it's very, very beautiful. So I also like you to tell me what's your favorite generation of the Hyundai Sonata and why. Tell us in the comment section. My name is Motileke and this is